Hey guys, and welcome to my first Garry's Mod 13 game mode tutorial. Today we're just going to do a simple example tutorial, and so let's go ahead and start. First thing you want to do is you want to go to your Garry's Mod game modes directory, which you can find it by looking up here. You can pause it to look at the directory if you don't know where it is already. Afterwards, you're going to want to create a folder called example. I already have an example folder, so mine's going to be called example1. After that, you're going to want to create two new folders. One will be called entities. The other will be called game mode. Also, while we're here, we got to make we got to make a text document. So you're going to want to make one, and it has to be the name of the game mode, which mine is, of course, example 1. Gonna want to open that up. Just drag it over here real quick. There we go. Alright, so in this text document, this will be basically how it's set up, I guess. Like how it will be set up. So since it is a game mode, at the top we have to put game mode up there. Well, because it's a game mode, of course. Then you're gonna want to make a table with it's a squiggly bracket right here. Then enter and then tab and then base. Base is what the base game mode will be for the game mode. And we're just gonna make that base for now. Which is base for all game modes. Next will be the title. And since our game mode is called example, we're gonna put example. Afterwards, we need to put the map extension, which you'd put maps right here, and then you put the extension. So since this is an example game mode, what we're gonna do is we're gonna make it an EX extension. This means that all maps with the EX underscore extension, if you click start new game, there'll be a tab on the side that says example. You'll click on that, and then all the maps that had the EX underscore extension would be under that. Next, we must make this thing called the menu system. Woo. Woo. I spelled a lot of shit wrong. Basically what this is whenever you start the game and you go to the bottom right and it has the game modes list. If you set this to 0, no one will be able to see it in that list. So since we are making it, we want to see it so that we can test it and all that good stuff. I'm just gonna move these up so they're aligned. Alright. Next is the workshop ID, which means that if you put this game mode in the workshop, you'd put the ID after this, but since we don't have to put anything down. Anyways, next is going to be the settings table. Under the settings table, it's supposed to be lowercase. Under the settings table, you're going to want to make a 1. This will be like the first set of settings. And this will also be a table, so go ahead and do this, sorry. After that, there's going to be a name, which will be EX underscore test. I'm not sure what this means. I will find out in the future though for you. The text, the text is just basically, it's self-explanatory. You can find it out for yourself. Anyways, we'll just put it as test. Help is also self-explanatory. We're just gonna put testing schnizzle, because why not? And then the map extension, which is the map extension, we're gonna put the map extension. And then the Next is the type. The type is numeric is basically the basic one. Someone would be able to set this from either 1 or 0. Next will be default, which means the default number that it will be on, which is always going to be 1, since it's default. Then that is the end of that table. Then we will also end the settings table, and then we will also end the game mode table. And that's pretty much all we're gonna do in the example 1.text. So like if you guys wanna go ahead and look up some more stuff about this, you could put more settings. There's other stuff you can put in here. You guys can look that up for yourself. This is all basically the important stuff. Of course, this does nothing, so but that's okay. Anyways, so next we're gonna go ahead and go into the game modes folder. There's going to be 3 different text files. Well, they're going to be Lua files, but they're text files. Anyway, so you're going to want to create a new text file. Now what you want to do is if you don't have this extension right here at the end, you can look it up on Google on how to show extensions like this. So go ahead and look that up now if you don't already know how to do it. Okay, so we're going to backspace all of it, and we're going to name it cl_init.lua. Now, whenever you press enter, it's going to ask you if you want to change the file name extension. Of course you do. I mean, you got to do it. So you're going to click yes. Then we're going to create another .lua. It's going to be called init.lua. And then one more, which will be called shared.lua. Shared.lua. Okay, so there's a difference between these Lua files here. Okay, and I'm going to explain each one to you. The cl_init.lua. The cl underscore means client. So this file right here will basically be for the clients of the server, which is like the players. Init.lua is for the server only. It's just like the cl_init.lua, except the cl_init.lua is for the clients only. And then we have the shared.lua, which basically it's a file for both server and client. So it's where it shares the two. Alright, so I prepared a little thing for you here. I can zoom in on it. Alright, so this is basically the hierarchy of the files here. So what you have here is the client, the shared, and the server. Client is the player, like I said. It is the person playing on the server. And then the server is for the server, of course. And then shared is it's all of it like sharing itself. Alright, so now I hope you understand this. If you don't, just follow me, and if you still don't get it, I suggest looking it up. Alright, so let's get on with the editing here. Okay. Alrighty, so now that we're in the cl_init.lua, we're gonna have to put a couple of things in here first. So in order for the share.lua to distribute between the client and the server, we have to include. You need to include in all of it. But we're just going to include the share.lua for now. Any variables, functions, or anything that's in share.lua that isn't local, you can use in the client side in it. So after that's pretty much all we need in there for now. Let's move on. Let's go to the init.lua. First thing we gotta do, since this is a server, we gotta add client-side Lua files. In this case, the only client-side Lua files we have right now are cl_init.lua and shared.lua, of course. So let's go ahead and do that. This is the code to add the client-side Lua files. It's just like include, except it's a different beginning part. Okay. And okay, you see that I have this add CS client, or sorry, add CS Lua file is blue. It's because I have Garry's mod Lua source file, which means if it's a .lua extension, it'll automatically do this. And you can go ahead and go find Gmod Lua language on Google, and you can have all this cool colors and stuff. After that, we're going to need to add some functions. Okay, so the first function we need to add. Oh, sorry, I forgot one more thing. We need to include the shared.lua also. Ugh. Alright, now we can add the functions. First function we shall add is function gm player connect. Now what this basically means is, like, if you were to put like a welcoming message or something in here, whenever the player connects, it'll display that welcoming message to them, if you make it the right way. Anyway, so we're just going to add name and IP into this. And you have to include the little spaces that are in between these things. I'm not sure why, it's just the way Garry did it, I guess. Let's go ahead and end it down here, and then we'll put something in the middle later. So, next function we shall add is function gm colon player initial spawn ply. Alright, so ply, it means player. So the name and IP up here, it's pretty self-explanatory. So whenever you'd put like I'll show you later. Let's go ahead and end it and make sure we can put something in it later. Next function we shall add is function gm player spawn. And we're going to put ply in there too. The GMs right here, it means game mode. So we put that in there just because it's a game mode. Let's end it and put something in. Okay. Next function will be function game mode player auth. And we're going to put ply, Steam ID, and unique ID. So, player auth, like whenever their Steam ticket gets authenticated, which means like if they have an illegal version of Garry's mod, it won't be able to authenticate it, so they'll automatically get kicked from the server if you have VAC secure, I'm pretty sure. Let's go ahead. Oh, also, ply obviously means player again. Steam ID is your Steam ID, which is, you probably know what that is. And the unique ID, which is not important right now. Some of this stuff is hard to explain because I don't really have a good knowledge base of what some of this stuff is. Anyway, next function will be function gm player disconnected, which of course is whenever the player disconnects. Put ply in there also. We'll end it. Alright. Next, I do believe there's a next one. Yes, okay. Next one will be nothing, actually. There's not going to be a next one yet. Alright, okay. So now that we have all this in here, go ahead and save it. Here's a basic skeleton of what it is. Anyway. Next, we will be editing the shared.lua. Right here. Okay. Alright. All we have to add in here is like your name, the author, and all that. Okay. So, GM, again, is Gamemode, dot name equals. Okay, so this is going to be the name of your game mode. This is where it's just to show what it is and all that. Alright, so it's going to be example, since it's an example game mode. You can name it whatever you want if you're making a game mode for yourself. Next will be gm.author, which will be your name or Steam name. Mine, of course, is Draconic Russian. Next is going to be gm.email. You can put any email. You can put your email in here. You can put in/a, which is not applicable, I think, right? Yeah, I don't know. I'm just gonna put that because I don't want to show you guys my email. No offense. Next will be gm.website, which you can put your gaming community's website, the Gamemode website if you make one, or just any website, I guess. I'm just gonna put NA also because I don't have a website for you guys to view. And so what we're gonna put in here is just function GM initialize and then end it. Now what we put in here is so that there's not as much errors or like there's no bugs or anything. We're just gonna put self.base class dot initialize and then put self inside the parentheses. Save it, and we're done with the share.lua. Alright, so now that we've got the basic skeleton here, I'm gonna go ahead and end it here. Yeah.